So many turrets. Running around killing turrets is not fun. Something of a armory section. Oh, god damn it. I don't know why you put missile turrets in your lab anyway. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way they wouldn't do more damage to your research than they would to your enemies.
Xenos detected.
Xenos. If you hear some weird sounds, background sounds that don't seem to be part of the game or part of my regular mumbling, there is construction going on next door. Stupid jerk turrets. Yeah, there's another big room. It's just over and over with these. I used to not mind it, but doing it as a Let's Play kind of really drives home how tedious this section actually was.
There. The command room is beyond those doors.
Yeah, some of them have these weird shields on them that don't actually really do anything. Just not super effectively. Alright, finally. Okay. I think at one point a whole bunch of orcs would come in here that you'd have to fight. Purity Seal, what does this one do? Supreme Fury, so Fury lasts even longer now. Hooray! Oh no, doesn't last longer, I just earned it faster. That's less cool.
All the security measures will be down shortly, Captain. I'm afraid they were the only thing keeping the orcs outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess
You
it
will
wasn't.
be able to fire the weapon.
Indeed. We had better do so quickly. This place will be awash with orcs before long. Of course. Security systems disabled.
Authorization recognized. Releasing safeguard.
Please
Okay.
proceed to the generator room.
Yeah, I think there was more far as just working up to the generate to the like firing core after the security system was taken down.
Place the canister into his cradle inside the power core canister.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot more.
Risk exposure again.
Only if you drop the canister.
So yeah.
Very good, Captain. Your time carrying my power source is finally at an end.
Stand clear. Psychic surge firing sequence commencing. Alarm. Structural damage. Warning. Emergency containment right commencing.
Damnable thing!
What do you need me to do, Inquisitor?
You'll need to manually restart the array alignment. Forcibly, if you must.
Where?
In the firing chamber. Board the lift, Ultramarines.
So originally, after the Psychic Scourge firing, you actually had to like fight your way back down to reclaim the power source.
You must hurry.
And they
The downed orcs have cut the main conduits to the firing
cut
tower.
that whole section, just had it so that you just
Reconnect the conduits, Captain.
grab
Or
it
we're
after the
facing a
firing
foe
sequence,
that will rip this
which
planet
we'll show you in
apart.
like a minute.
Understood.
I think there may have been more fighting up to the firing chamber as well.
Clear it out. No muscle. Kill the Space Marines. Smash up.
Psychic surge firing sequence commencing.
Inquisitor, the conduits are reconnected.
Now, proceed to the main control panel.
Yeah, I think there were more conduits that had to be reconnected as well, if I remember correctly. But yes, it's like they changed it so it's like you can sort of
Space Marines!
see that the... No, that's not the power source. Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense the way the cut kind of made that make no sense at all.
Primary containment fixture disengaging. Firing sequence
Because you have like the
in progress.
alignment thing.
Firing now.
Boom.
Alarm.
Yeah, and that just falls apart.
Look at the spire. I've been looking for you, Space Marine. You got something of mine.
Warboss shows up. Boom. Yeah, see, now you can see, like, on the ground right there, there's the power source. And how the hell did it get there? Because it wasn't, you know, wasn't in the firing ring, wasn't in the thing. There's just... Suddenly it's just appeared there, because originally... Because they had to do something to get it so that Titus got it back. Even though it was...
Why didn't it work? Damn that Drogon.
after they cut the
Never trust
sequence
the
where you
Inquisition.
actually had to fight back down to the core to
Stand
reclaim
fast,
it.
Ultramarines. We can handle a few orcs. Space Marine! Was that supposed to hurt?
But then the coming of chaos. I remember when Justin, one of my coworkers, played through the game for the first time. It was at about like the going through the bottom of the facility sequence. He was getting really bored with it, and he's like, "Jesus, how much longer does this game go on, Dave?" And then he gets to here, and he's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, this is awesome!" Because it just kind of revitalized the entire game. And that was kind of one of the things that sort of annoyed me about the cuts and stuff. Because I mean, it basically was done. It was sort of like just the fighting of the orcs, like up to this point, felt like a complete game at this point. Like you could have fought the war boss and killed the war boss off here, and it would have been a fairly satisfactory, like, complete game without all the stuff. And it would have felt like right. It would have felt like, okay, that's enough of that. And then they just throw chaos comes in, and the game changes to a pretty large degree, because now you have orcs and chaos, and they're fighting each other and fighting you, and it's a very different thing, and it's pretty cool. And then the reveal that Drogon was in fact possessed by chaos the entire time.
I see. My servant did all that I hoped and more. But he would never have succeeded without you, Captain Titus. Thanks to these brave space marines, we have broken through to this reality. The blessed guilt.
Now we have. I think it's like.
Clever fool. You seem surprisingly able to resist my touch, Titus.
Titus's unusual resistance to the forces, energies of the warp and the forces of chaos.
Which impressed my servant to no end. Ah, you think the Inquisitor a traitor? But Drogon has been dead since before you first met. You have been used by my puppet of flesh and bone. I ain't so easy to kill.
Now that war boss in this moment is the hero. But yeah, suddenly Titus just has the energy source
To the left.
in the canister, even though there's no way that he could have gotten them. Just really poorly thought out. Bloodletters. So yeah, then like I was saying before, there's this whole sequence where you had to fight down through the capitalist facility and reclaim the power source, but they made that dumb for some reason. Well, they made it not for some reason, because Chris Cross said they had to cut a whole bunch of stuff out, and they decided that was something that had to be cut.
Did that fiend speak truth? Did we cause a chaos invasion?
Of course we did. His Inquisitor puppet manipulated us from the moment we met.
And before. The false Inquisitor sent the distress call.
I don't think so, Leandros. The man's urgency, was fear. I believe that was the real Drogon.
So there's
Facing certain death.
the servo
A lot
skulls.
of the orcs had.
You find like a whole
Somehow
bunch of
the
Drogon's
agents of
logs,
Chaos
and that he has been being chased by. He knows that he was being chased by Chaos. And
Keep moving!
yeah, so it's like you had to fight, and then like that staircase was down, so you had to fight around and find another way to get over the power core in order to get the power source back. Fairly lengthy sequence. Lots of action, lots of fighting, lots of stumbling on the like opening doors and seeing the orcs fighting demons, which is pretty cool. And now you just go out to here. Kind of ironic that Monster would be super effective against demons.
To the exit! Keep moving!
And there's going to be a fade to black here, because there was a whole huge chunk of stuff that got cut out right here. Because there was the fighting around to get to the thing, and then there was also this whole like mission thing. It was this where you had to fight through
That gate, it's getting bigger.
this
It gets much
canyon
larger. Nemeroth can bring
and
his
fight
fleet.
off all these chaos guys in this canyon, and they were
Gate and tower.
there were Chaos Space Marine snipers that were shooting at you and blood letters and stuff. And at the very end of the canyon, that was when they introduced the tainted Psyker,
It's
who
time
shows
we
up
use the power source to
later
our
on
advantage
here,
to supercharge Invictus. We need to reach that Titan.
but they don't. And it was sort of kind of a boss fight against the first Chaos Psyker. It was very similar to the fighting when you fight the Orc Weird Boys. And they actually did a lot of different stuff with that, different things with that sequence. Like initially, at one point they'd actually moved it to the very beginning of the game. Like the game opened with this flash forward to that canyon, whole canyon sequence, because for some reason at one point they were like, we need to make it so that people don't think that we're just going to be fighting orcs the whole time. So, and I was like, you do that and you're going to spoil the twist that Chaos shows up. And I think eventually they realized that that was correct, that was a massive thing, and that they needed to keep the spoiler that Chaos would arrive later on. They needed to keep that as a secret and a twist, that when you hit about 2/3 through the game, suddenly Chaos shows up and you have to, and the fight changes significantly. So they moved it back to where it was, and then they cut it completely when Chris Cross came on and said, let's cut, you guys need to start making cuts because I want you to make cuts. Yeah. But yeah, there were the Drogon servo skulls that you find that are his logs talks about how he created the power source in the first place. And it's basically this thing because he's a psyker, so what he did, it was like he would take his ship into the warp and then like try to summon a piece of the warp to himself, which is, a terrible idea that you should have known. And then after a while he was finally successful in like summoning it and crystallizing the warp.
And we obliged.
I was deceived.
And
I
then
am responsible for chaos breaking through to this
once he
world.
did that, he suddenly realized that there was a demon
Genetic scan
that knew the sort of
depth of the starting. Full access granted.
Iron Halo. Yay. Shield boost. Yeah, so after he did that, he realized that this demon was after him. And like the last log you find is when the demon catches him and possesses him, and then he's like swears his fealty to the Chaos Lord, whatever his name is, that I can't remember his name.
Ultramarines, attack!
Yeah, Orcs on one side, Chaos Space Marines on the other. Chaos Space Marines and Traitor Guard. Chaos Space Marines, even if we're going the button mash, very similar to the Orc Knobs. They also don't have as much variety in their executions as the Orcs did. It was really too bad, because I mean, it wasn't like they didn't know that. It wasn't like it was the last late decision to start adding chaos to the game. Because I mean, that canyon sequence was actually one of the earlier completed sequences. It was like the two sequences that were like fully playable from the beginning were the Valkyrie like flight. Oh damn. The Valkyrie flight sequence and the Chaos Canyon sequence. Yeah, not doing so good. Yep, it's this way. So, and the Chaos kind of still seems to have gotten a little bit of short shrift as far as just its animation and stuff is kind of doesn't really have a good explanation and is a little bit disappointing. Ammo. Gonna be a cutscene in a second. Where Leandros is.
Duty requires that I put voice to my concerns.
Speak then.
You held the unshielded power source again, Captain. And again, you emerged from the exposure unscathed.
Oh, here we go. Cutscene.
The Codex Astartes warns that those in league with Chaos can withstand the warp's touch.
You forget yourself, Ultramarine.
Leandros, I do not take this warp resistance lightly. But the search for answers must wait until after we deal with this Chaos invasion.
What if that is too late?
Leandros, enough. We need to keep moving.
This is where Leandros starts acting a little bit above his pay grade, questioning Captain Titus. I don't need more grenades, I don't think. Yeah, I think there was a servo skull there at one point. Nope. And nope. Okay. Okay, so I think there's may or may not have been another big fade to black coming up. No, not yet. But we're getting there. This is when we start.
Brothers, attack! Purge the enemy!
Oh, damn.
We shall know no
Yeah, those
fear.
Chaos Plasma guns. Okay. Those are real bastards. I could really use a plasma rifle or a storm bolter would be super handy.
Runners, attack!
Ah!
Live for yourself.
Gets hard here because, and Chaos Space Marines, they are Space Marines, just, you know, with the forces of chaos, so they are as strong, and arguably if you play tabletop and you play Chaos and tabletop, you're going to think that Chaos Space Marines are significantly stronger than Space Marines.
Runners, attack!
Ah! God damn!
To the Emperor's cards.
Yeah, he's really screwing me hard. Alright. I'll be a little bit more careful. We're going to be a little bit more cowardly seeming. Use tactics that aren't strictly Space Marine tactics. Take out this traitor guard. Don't need their las rifles shooting at me at the same time as everything else is. Ah, yeah, Jesus Christ. Bastard.
What's that grenade?
Yeah, that could have gone better. Using all my ammo for stalker bolter to take out one guy is not ideal. Breaking their shields is what stuns them, so. Bloody chaos. Heretics. Invisible wall there. Regular guard.
Demons! Demons! Where are they all coming from? Report. Our Lord Space Marine. They were on us almost immediately.
Lieutenant, Captain Titus, are you there? This is Lieutenant Mira. This whole planet has gone mad.
The forces of chaos are invading this world. We must get to the Titan and destroy that warp gate.
I know what route to take. I deployed troops to man outposts between the Calcus facility and Bastion Primus.
Yeah.
From there, you can access the rail network and cross to Manufacturer Majakis.
Understood. I will meet you there.
So I think this is where the... It was around here where the canyon sequence was originally. It's really tempting to get the Thunder Hammer, but I need my awesome ranged weapons. I am going to switch to las cannon though. Orcs versus demons. Orcs versus chaos. Leave the orcs alone and just focus my attentions on chaos. Orc is shooting at me when clearly I am fighting chaos. Yeah, same execution animation every time. Very disappointing. Cracking bolts. A little more effective against orcs. Oh, there's a wall there. See, falling down. Good.
Kill the Space Marines! Space Marines! Humans to kill again!
So I think there's going to be a faded black here. Get in the freaking elevator, dude. Come on.
An orc invasion, and now the tender mercies of the Chaos heretics. I'm surprised the place is standing at all.
No, not quite faded black yet. I think it's at the next faded black. I think is where I'm going to cut off part 3. Yep, here we go. Right here. Alright. So yeah. Let's fade to black, then fade back in.
How can we face them? The legions of chaos.
Meet back up with Lieutenant Mira.
Get yourself together right now!
Yes, Mom.
The
So,
other
yeah.
platoons are going to fall back towards the bastion.
There was a good like 45 minutes to an hour of game that was cut out in that fade to black there.
Greetings, Ultramarines.
What is your situation, Lieutenant?
As well as can be hoped, considering we are surrounded on all sides by the enemy horde. We're heading back to the command post, Captain.
Alright, I think I'm going to call that part 3 right now, just because I got some other stuff I got to do today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the time-lapse and everything else. Questions or comments, please leave questions or comments in the comments, or on Twitter, or wherever, because questions and comments is what I want to be answering. Admittedly, I know very, very few people actually seem to be watching these. And so, if you are watching it, share it with other people. I'd like it if these were spread around. It would be kind of cool. So anyway, alright, that's in part 3. Thank you for watching games that I worked on. Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine. Part 4 will be up sometime in the future. Good day.